Hello Flosstube, my name is Laura and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Maybe hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I would love to know what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy life to hang out with me. I so appreciate each and every time that you press play. So thank you very much. All right, I have lots of fun stuff, I think, to show. I have 12 projects that I worked on this week, 2 of which were starts. I do not have any finishes this week after my few last week, but I'm getting close and I'm really keeping an eye on where my projects are and keeping an eye on rotating some of the smaller ones as I continue work on some of the bigger ones. So I'm kind of pleased with how things are going. I might in July take a stock of everything and kind of think about where all of my projects are, and that might be kind of fun actually for me to kind of get a grip of what's where, you know what I mean? Before I start my projects, I do want to just mention that the artist trading card swap, we haven't hit the deadline yet, so you still have time. If you go back to my playlist and you look at the artist trading card playlist, it gives the info about the trading cards and all of that. The quick cliff notes are, do they still have cliff notes? I don't even know. I only used them a little bit, I swear. Most of the time I did do my homework properly. Cliff notes are that July 1st-ish, I mean, sometime next week, if you could send it, that would be fine to me. The theme is air and or water. They do not have to be combined into something. You can just pick one of them, or you can do more than one, however you want to do it. And all the details about sending and what to send with and all of that is all in that video. But we're getting close, and this was an awesome mail week. I had so much fun getting the mail this week. It was great. So I will, when I get to later on in the video, I will tell you, I will show whose I've received. So if you've sent it, you'll know that I've received it. Okay. Alrighty. So let's get going. Now I'm trying to think. Oh, this one was for I Spy. So I Spy is a game challenge, whatever you want to call it, that I do each month where I create 10 prompts and you have to spy them somewhere on projects. And you can be creative. My goal is just for you to have a little fun with it. I mean, nobody's keeping track. You decide your own goal. It's just for fun. And I realized today is the 27th. And yes, July just flew by. No, it's not even July. June flew by. And I just realized a couple days ago that I don't have, I think I went and I looked and I had 1 prompt. Like, well, that's not really going to do. So the next day or two, I will figure out all the rest of the prompts and then I will get it up on my Facebook page. But don't worry, if you're not on Facebook, I also put it in the posts section. So if you go to my main page of my channel and you look for posts, I always put it there as well. So this way it's open to everybody. You do not have to be part of Facebook. All right, so the prompt was, I think, let's see here, something you do in summer. Well, there's a lot of fun stuff here. People go fishing, you can sunbathe, there's like a little scuba gear, all sorts of fun, different stuff. So I thought that would be kind of neat to pull out. And this project needs to get a little bit more work. I do try to do 10 different projects in the month, just for funsies, to be honest with you, to see if I can do it. And it just moves my projects along that much more. Even if they only get maybe 200-300 stitches, it's something, right? So let me show you where I am. Okay. It is the cloudiest, dreariest, grayest day, but actually, that looks pretty good. The fabric's probably a titch darker, a little bit more beige. This is 18 count Carmel Macchiato from Fabrics by Stephanie. I was doing my list this week, and it's a Fabrics by Stephanie week. I think maybe almost half of them are Stephanie's fabrics. So this is where I am. I'm getting there. You can see here, there's a big open space because I need to chart that. That'll be the last thing I do. I want it to say Delaware versus what it says. I can do there's a fish over here. I'm pretty sure I can do that, but I might do the charting first. I know somebody had said, oh, you missed a letter. It's actually sea, sand, sun, because you got me really nervous. Paula, I think it was you, eagle eye, but I think we're okay. That was the first thing I did, was check my pattern afterwards. So I did more of this to bring this down. So this will come down a little bit more, and that will finish it kind of, you know, it's reminiscent of your tier trays, right? Kind of thing. They call it just signs. And, you know, I mean, I guess with these kind of being signs. So I didn't want to just make any mistakes here, because I have moved this over. So I go by my own stitching, not by the chart. So I did some of the kind of boring part of filling this in, so that once I get here, then I'll continue and finish that, just so I know everything that's there. I meant to do, there's a glass of what I think is lemonade next to the watermelon here. I meant to do that, and I kind of forgot to get to it. I ended up doing some of this instead of this chair. I thought that might be good, because I can either go here with the boombox or go back over here with the lemonade. I still do have to fill in this kind of bath hut, do one more. I think it's red. And there's a bunch of things here, a tiny bit of backstitch like up here with the fishing lines, but not a lot. And then there are seagulls, large ones and small ones, that are kind of thrown, that are flying. And I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of pick and choose. I think maybe use the big ones more. The small ones are kind of hard to tell as seagulls. So I'm not sure I'm going to do those. I might just do some of the big ones. I know it's kind of like a smaller little flock, but we'll see. You know that I generally sometimes will pull things out anyway, because I do like things to be a little bit more minimalist. But I got some progress on this one, and it's, you know, I mean, it's a bit slow going, but I'm really enjoying what it's going to look like in the end. And I think this will be fun on the beach. From Stitchrovia I stitched, which did I scrapbook that, or is it to be scrapbooked? I can't remember, but it was done on kind of a similar fabric. So this might be a fun kind of companion piece right next to it on the scrapbook, and they would both be vertical orientations. So I think that's kind of what my goal would be. And then you'd have, you know, the two different pieces, beachy sort of pieces, to go next to each other, side by side. So it'll get done when it gets done. If I haven't done on the beach, I think I want to get that one scrapbooked so that we can get it in the book. I did find there's a coupon code for 10% off at scrapbooks.com. So I'm going to order my scrapbooks, because my small one actually I need a new one this size. And I think my next size, I need a new one. And then we will do the filming of everything once I have the materials here. Alrighty, so this next piece here is, let me go to my projects list, pictures. This one is a digital piece. And as I was stitching this, I'm kind of refining what it's gonna, you know, what parts of it I'm stitching, I guess. So this is called Bee Garden from Rosa Designs. And I am super, super enjoying stitching it. And I originally thought I was going to stitch the whole thing, although I did start with the inside. I thought, oh, this looks so cool, which it does. But, however, as I'm stitching this, I kind of like the look of it. It's very sweet to me this way. So I still have the flowers down here that will come around. It will almost be, I don't think it'll be a circle. It'll be more of an oval, which I kind of want to scrapbook it, because I do have other bees in the scrapbook, which means I may not necessarily take advantage of that oval, because I haven't figured out. I know I could put like it, you know, almost like a mat over it in the scrapbook, and you know, cut the hole open to show the stitch piece, but I just don't know how to make that look the way I want it to. Do you know what I mean? So it may just end up being this lovely little kind of oval shape without me taking advantage of the oval. This is 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. And none of these colors are the exact, well, they're not exact colors, because this was not charted in DMC. It was charted in, because it did not have a DMC alternative. Let's see, Weeks Dye Works, it was charted in. And so I went to charts, a couple different charts, and I did some DMC changing that way. But then I also looked at my fabric and I looked at the color vibe that I wanted. So some of them also deviate from the chart. And I'm really loving the colors I chose. I still have to fill in some of the flowers up top here. I think it's mostly just with white stitches. Well, actually, these already have it. I didn't see it through the camera, but these ones don't. I have to fill those in. I'll probably wait. At this point, it's mostly greenery down here, but this color flower, there's 2 over here and 2 over here. And then once I get those and just do fill in, I think I'm done. I did work on this bee this time around, plus working on greenery. There was probably some, I think, up here, over here I needed to do too. Now, the bee is completely not as charted because I made a mistake. I read the chart wrong, and I pulled the wrong color for what's basically the outer part of the wings, and I think the inside part of the body, but I actually really like it. It was a mistake that in the end, that's what was meant to be. And I wrote myself a note so that I wouldn't do the correct colors on this side, and I made the same quote unquote mistake over here. So that basically I made the same alteration, and I really, really like that. I think a lot of my stitching was this bee. This little guy is bigger than you think. More stitches than you realize. And then, you know, coming down here. This one could easily, this is definitely something that I think I'd like to have finished by the end of this year, especially if I don't do kind of that kind of honeycomb look. I absolutely love that look, but I'm really liking how it is here. And so I need to kind of maybe trust my instincts with it and go with that. I'm trying to think anything else about this one. I think that's about it. My first sub Rosa, I really, really did enjoy it. I was a little mumbly grumbly when I had to do all of the color changes myself because, you know, that's just the way. But I'm happy with what I had. And once I got those changes in, then I was all in. So, but I'm not gonna lie, there was a little grumbling going on. So that's where it is. That's Bee Garden. Really fun. And I will definitely be looking at more of the sub roses. And I mean, you can certainly change colors. There's definitely more of a prim vibe, but you can change colors however you want, really. All right, so next. This one actually I pulled out for Whip Warriors. Let me pull my book over here so I can see what I'm doing. Whip Warriors had a Christmas in June event. I think I mentioned that last week because technically June 25th is 6 months from Christmas. So I think it was it might have been a 5-day event, but I only did 4 days. And you were to, well, you could do more than one project and how, you know, at least I think it was 200 stitches or something or other. I concentrated on one project because I want to see this one finished by the end of the year. And I thought, well, why not then? So it's Christmas Eve from the Prairie Schooler. And I'm doing the main piece up there. The only color change I made was to Santa's face. Generally, Prairie Schoolers, Santa's faces are a little too mauve fuchsia for me, usually. And so I changed them, and I don't always have the same change because it depends on what fabric I use, what's going to look good. And I like what I did here. I think everything else is the same. The other thing I'm not doing, I don't know if you look close, there's actually very faint words over here. It says, oh, I can't even read it. Noel, Merry Christmas, peace, love, and I think joy. And I had started doing that and I wasn't loving it. And so I took it out, but I took it out after I had already done the white that was there and then filled in the white. So I don't like what it looks like now, but I have a solution. So I think I'm going to like what I had. So this is where I am. And I did pretty good progress. I did how many stitches? 842 stitches during the event, which I thought was really good. I got this and I forgot the little chimneys up here. So I do have to do those. But the entire house here is done, which had not been done at all. I started working on, there's snowflakes. I don't know how well they're showing up here. In person, they show up just fine. But I did a bunch of the snowflakes and then I just keep doing snow. And I was doing, and I also had to finish all of the border around here. Again, I was super excited to see that it all did line up. We're always worried about that. And because I was working over here, I kind of did the snow there. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's all going to be just snow. so I don't have to worry about counting anything. But what I'm doing is when I start a strand, I'm doing a snowflake and then finishing the strand on the snow. And I'll keep doing that. So this way I have snowflake done and then I have some of the snow done. Besides those, I think it's 2 chimneys there. Yes. I have to do the door on this house. Oh, the other thing I did was there was windows, a lot of different window colors. There's kind of a yellow as well as a brown. The window and doors, all that got done as well. So I really did some really nice progress. But this is definitely a goal to get this one finished by this year. What I might do in July, for Christmas in July, I might make this like 100 stitches a day kind of piece and just see if I can get it. I mean, in 30, there's no way there's 3,000 stitches left on this. I'd be shocked. I mean, I don't know. That just seems like a lot. So I think that what I might do, this is 18 count Chinchilla from Mystic Fabric. And somebody had sent me a picture of this finished in like a gray, and I really loved that look. So is this a fabric of the month? It was at one point, April 2021. And when I got this, I said, yep, this is what I really like, that kind of grayish look with it. So that's what I ended up with. I mean, I think this one will be scrapbooked, but I think it'll be fun. I don't have a lot of Christmas bigger pieces. Most of the Christmas that I've done is ornamenty, sort of smaller. So this will be kind of fun to scrapbook. I did carry over and keep some of my Christmas papers from scrapbooking when we moved down here to Delaware. So we'll have to see what I have, but that's where it is. I made really good progress. It'll go away for the next, well, at least, what, 4 days, 3 days? Oh, I guess if you count the day before. And then maybe come the 1st of July, we will bring this one out for 100 stitches a day. And fingers crossed, maybe I can get that one finished. And that is my, if I look at my pictures, that is, I can tell you, that is my, whoops, 3rd oldest piece. So, and then after that, there's quite a few full coverages. So, you know, those obviously are not getting done anytime soon. But that one was definitely, that's in the really old pile. I think started in 2020. So it really does need to keep getting finished. Since I was working and showing you Christmas, I figured when I was doing my pieces, I would just keep going on the Christmas theme. Now, this was not part of my Christmas in June. I do, though, on the 25th of each month, I try to do some Christmas stitching. 24th, 25th, if I remember. It depends on what I'm doing, or if at halftime, I don't know what the date is, so that's always a problem. So I did, obviously, that fell within the Christmas in June event, but then I also wanted to, I don't know if I actually worked on this on the 20. No, I did not. This got work done before that because I'm not caught up to the 25th yet. But this is my whip into shape piece. If you know Andrew, the runner stitcher, let me link Andrew, then you'll know all about the marathon challenge. And oh, go watch his latest video. You can see where his marathon is. So exciting, Andrew. But he is basically challenging us while he trains to run a marathon. We are stitching a marathon, so to speak, stitch training. And so the way I'm working it is for every mile he runs every day, I multiply that times 10, and that's what I stitch on this piece. And that's what I started on this piece when he started his training. And my goal, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, is to get it finished before his marathon. And I'm behind on the days. I think I got through Tuesday. Let me see. I have a little handy dandy fancy little, the 22nd. Was that Tuesday? So this is Andrew. And this is the running. And I do a different color depending on, I do 5 mile increments. You know, that's rest. I think this is a rest day, and then so on and so forth, you know, 1 to 5, 6 to 10, all of that kind of thing. So that's why we have the different colors. And I know we're going to see, can't remember what the next color is when he goes over 15. I think this is so far the highest we've been, is from 15 miles. So, but yeah, so what I have done is through the 22nd, which means I do have some stitching to catch up on. I don't do it every day, clearly, right? I like to sit down and do a huge chunk or a big chunk of it. Sometimes, I think this one I did 300. I think I needed 330. And I did that all at once, just because it's just easier when all the stuff is out. And there's a lot of color changes on this one. I'm still valiantly trying to get all of the white in. It's funny because I saw the before picture. I did take one at the start of the stitching event training, and all of this will eventually be white done, and this was not stitched. There's a lot of white that I'm stitching, so I'm not sure how well the before and the after will really show the impact of how many stitches I'm doing, but there's a lot of white in this piece. This is 18 count, just a opal, just your plain white, and I did some down here. I really did focus a lot on white, to be perfectly honest with you. I did get, so this is going to be a snowman, and I got his little, I didn't get his little mouth yet, but I got his little hat and scarf and his eyes in. So now I just have to do, I think his body is, we have the little bit of the blue to kind of shadow him, and then I have to do the white there. I can't remember if there's something else to kind of show that he's a snowman. I think I also did some of the kind of the blue snowy-ish, and then I did do some colors down here. I think some brown to shake it up, and because I kind of got tired of the white. But I have, if I look, so this side is almost all the way down here, the white, but over here, I have the white to here. So I still have some of that to do. And obviously both of these paths and down here are still not stitched. So there's quite a bit of white left, but we just keep plugging away. And I'm really thankful for this challenge, because this will get me a finish, which I really wanted. Again, this is my oldest open project as it is, and so it'd be really, really nice to see a finish by the end of this year and wrap it up within the 5 years time. And that's not, 5 years is not because of the pattern. I love Stitchrovia patterns. It was just how I was stitching it was not the most efficient, and then I kind of kept learning. So now I'm at a pretty efficient spot, but I was not, it took me a while to get there. Plus, I am definitely, the more I stitch, I really like color changes, but not itty bitty color changes, because of the way Stitchrovia looks in the end. I will continue to stitch. I do want to stitch her like, is it City of, Rachel Q is stitching it. I think it's, hers might be called City of Romance, but I don't know if online it's City of Love. I don't remember. I really want to stitch that, and I know it's going to be the same sort of thing again. Tiny Modernist is kind of like that, with all the kind of color changes, but I'm willing to, because I love the final look. But I am learning that maybe I don't, some patterns I'll see and I'm like, oh, I love that. And like, no, I won't enjoy stitching it. So I'm getting there. I'm starting to learn what is more my kind of thing. You know what I mean? All right. My nose is completely stuffed up, so my mouth is dry. I take sips every once in a while with my tea. Okay, so this next one here, two things with this one. One, I was still kind of doing with the whole kind of wintry vibe. It's not Christmassy, but wintry vibe. Plus, Karen, the Stitching Owl, I think in her last video showed this one finished, like fully finished. She's had it stitched finished for a long time. This is Peaceful Path, designed by Sunny Lofstrom of Three Tiny Owls. And the magazine, it was from the 2024 Christmas edition of Just Cross Stitch. And just a reminder, in the pattern, you'll see there was a slight hiccup in, they mixed up white and ecru. So just be careful, just double check that, if you're stitching this ever from the magazine, especially if it was the original run of the magazine. It's a total full coverage. If you've not done full coverage before, it's nice in the sense that it's small. And, that way you can kind of dip your toe into it. And that's where I am. It might be hard to see some because the, obviously it's not going to matter when everything is stitched, but some of the blue I've stitched here kind of fades into the blue I'm using. I had this blue scrap, and I thought, since quite a bit of this is in the blue tones, rather than doing it on a white scrap, I mean, unless I'm doing a trading card or some other small ornament, I wouldn't have much other use for this anyway. So it's an 18 count scrap of something. And that's where I am. And I did get some, where's my other book? I don't remember exactly how many stitches I did on this one. Let me see if I can see real quick. It's not jumping out at me right away. But I do remember thinking, oh, I did pretty good on this. Oh yeah, here we go. Just under 400 stitches. So that's a pretty good chunk. And I'll just keep plugging away on it until it's done. I will consider this one a Christmas, I think, to pull out for next month for Christmas in July. I know it's not technically Christmas, but it was in the Christmas issue, so I'm going to count it because of that. So I'm going to put the magazine back in this little bag here. Our fancy dancy bag. Okay, next. This one I pulled out. So the 23rd is the date of my birthday in October. And so I kind of put on the 23rd as a little nod to my pumpkin birthday stitching that I do in October. I try to work on some of those pumpkin pieces that I worked on or started, or however you want to say, in October. And I think I started this one in an October start. I don't know. It was a fall one, but it's got a pumpkin, so I use it. This is the full set. So let me show you that first. I call it November Gnome. This is from WonderStitch UA. If I go this way and I make it bigger, this is the one I'm stitching. I'm not doing the background or the little grounding circle. Now I am using all of their called for colors. I have found that WonderStitch, especially with these gnomes, does a really nice job of layering the DMC colors on top of each other so that when your piece is done, the colors look really nice together. So I said, I'm thinking, why mess with something if it's not broke, right? This is 18 count Buttercream from To Die For. Now I do not know, so To Die For Fabrics, August 1st, she's opening up her Etsy store back up again, and she's been showing day after day new colors on her Facebook page. Now I do not know if the color names that she had previously will be the same. It's probably something once she opens, I'll do a quick look, and if I can't tell, I'll ask her. But because I have quite a bit of To Die For fabrics from before she took her sabbatical, so to speak. So we'll see. But my focus on this one was this side right here, which you would say, well, Laura, that's not that much. It actually is quite a bit. There's 5 different colors of kind of variations of whites through ecru's through beiges in that area. And I actually do not know if this goes into Pattern Keeper. I obviously have the paper, the digital chart, because that's how I'm showing it to you. And I just never thought to try to put them in. Well, I started all these before I had Pattern Keeper, which I think is part of it. So I've not tried to put it in. Probably would make my life a heck of a lot easier. But so doing this off of paper, as well as all the color changes, I'm pretty proud of myself, to be perfectly honest. And so I can't remember. My goal for this one, for when I did my whip parade in January, was not to finish it. There's a lot of stitching left to do. I mean, there's this whole kind of beard. So almost all of this will be those colors. And then over here, the pumpkin will be so much fun to stitch. I might get bored of these colors and end up doing that and finishing with here, but we'll see. It'd be fun to finish with the pumpkin. But what was my goal? I'm not sure. I don't know if it was to try to get like halfway from here and just have this side left to do. I'd have to look back in my notes because I did write them down on my notes from the whip parade. So we'll see. But I'm just kind of plugging it along, and hopefully maybe, I mean, I have quite a few pumpkin pieces that I have started and going. So I can't necessarily say, well, I'm just going to work on it every 23rd, because then that would mean some of my other pieces would kind of fall by the wayside. So we're still trying to figure out the best way to do that. All right. The other piece that I did work on for the, let me write down Karen's name just so I don't forget to link Karen. For the 23rd, I also pulled this out partly because I was influenced again. So I'm easily influenced to pull out pieces that remind me of other things. So Karen was stitching Peaceful Path with me, and got it finished. So I'm like, okay, Laura, let's do that. This one, Helen D started this way before me, and she's going to finish it. She's going to finish it soon. You know Helen. She's such a fast, efficient stitcher. I think she said in her last video she's about 75% done, so you know it. You know a finish is coming. But I thought, okay, let me pull this out because I started this one. I think I actually started this one on my birthday. It's Witch's Hollow, and it is from Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I purposely did get the digital piece of this. I stitched Autumn Town by paper, and obviously you're able to do it, but I just thought, because the top is full coverage and there's a lot of other stuff, and that orange, you know, you have to count. I thought, well, let's buy it digitally. And that's what I did. So I waited until it was available. Well, it was a box piece, so you couldn't buy it even in paper because I didn't get the box for the longest time. I think it was 13 or 14 months before they released it after the box had been released. But when I had the choice, I just said, I'm just going to go with the digital. This is 18 count. I'd say about there. That's about what the color is. It's 18 count genuine Gillian from Those Missing Stitches. It's a really, really lovely mottled orange. So I'm really pleased with it. And I'm curious to see where things fall with the modeling. Obviously up here, it's all going to be full coverage. And this is the edge. I wanted to do that just to make sure I knew where I was, but then I've kind of abandoned that spot. I think there's a huge chunk of just one color. And I was like, I want to kind of change things up. So I concentrated a lot over here. And then I also started to fill in a lot of black. What's funny is this piece only has about 7 colors in it. I mean, it's amazing. Partly because, you know, you actually almost have to count the fabric as an extra floss, right? Because that's doing a lot of the heavy work as the background. But there's a lot of black stitching, a lot of black stitching. And so I think it's something like, I don't know if it's like 8,000 that I have left to do, or I don't even know exactly, of just black. But you know, I figured I better do some of that. I think I meant to write it down and I never remember. I kind of look at the percentages, but I kind of look at them fleetingly. I don't necessarily pay attention to them for longer than that. I want to say it was at 13%. So I'm clearly much farther behind than Helen is. My goal maybe of 2026 Halloween or my birthday or whatever, you know, kind of around there. My birthday's only a week before Halloween. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, but I enjoy stitching on it. I enjoy just the nature of it being in Pattern Keeper and just kind of following the line, you know, picking the color it tells me to, and then stitching it kind of thing. Okay, this next one is one of my new starts. And, oh, I didn't put it in this folder, which I've got to do that. So let me go to over here in the photos. There it is. Okay, so I got to transfer that over. This is Shack on the Shore by Flossibilities. And I am stitching this with Karen, the Stitching Owl, who I mentioned with Peaceful Path, and also Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner. And then I don't remember. Lee, yes, Lee from Sticks, Strings, and Other Things. Yes, because Lee was doing kind of the same top part. We jumped on a Zoom, and I remember Lee got to this flower before I did, and she was like, oh, it's really pretty, but oh, there's a lot of colors. And then I got to it, I said, oh, yeah, you're right. There are a lot of other colors. So, and if there's anybody else that I've forgotten, I apologize. I'm sorry about that. Let me know so that I can follow your progress as you go. This is my first Flossibilities. I've never stitched from them before. I was obviously influenced by the blue background, and hello, it's me, so blue is always a default anyway. And this is my start. Now, I want to say probably a tiny bit darker than that, but if I come up, it's going to blow it out. But look at what I got done. This is 18 count Ice Crystals by Fabrics by Stephanie. Right? Yes, Ice Crystals by Stephanie. And yeah, the one thing I might change, let me show you here. Do you see how this anchor is kind of, ooh, is that kind of goldish color? I think I'd like to do it in either a deep blue or gray. Now I do have to be careful because what was really interesting, I didn't pay attention necessarily when I was pulling the colors or looking at the picture. But this one is kind of a very, it's almost, we were describing it as, think about, you know, when you have that bright color of something and then the sun hits it and hits it and hits it for years, right? And it gets that kind of lovely little kind of sun faded look, like, you know, kind of that lived in look. And a lot of these colors kind of have that vibe where they're a bit more faded, a little bit more muted. And so what I originally thought color-wise for this anchor, and there's one on the other side, I think would be too jarring and be a little bit too unfaded. So I want to kind of, I'll look at my DMC book and see what I think, but eventually pull something out. But yes, these flowers are really cute up here. That one has less, but this one, I have to repeat it over here too. But there's basically, you stitch 4 stitches, then you change color. And I think there's 5 different colors in that one flower. So they're challenging us. Now I know Karen and Mary started, and I think in the center with the shack. And what I ended up doing was I couldn't face the other flower. So I did the sun. That was what I finished that day of the stitching. So that way, if I want to, I can start, because the shack is right, the point of the roof is right about here. And so that's kind of the center. So I can do some of that and do some of the fun stuff in the middle before doing some more border. Because again, you know me, I like the border to a degree. This border does go 4 sides. What I might think about doing is seeing, once I get to the water, do I want the final 4th border underneath? We'll see. That's a long way from now, but I got a nice start. What did I get on this one? Just about 600 stitches. So that's pretty good, actually. Nice, good start. Alrighty. Now we're staying at the beach for a moment. And this piece of mine is the piece that I do every 4th week. And it is Summer Quaker by Lila Studio. And that's what it'll eventually look like. And I am not changing colors. So mine will be very similar except for my fabric. My fabric is, surprise, surprise, a blue, right? More Stephanie fabric. This is 18 count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. If you've been around for a long time, you know that's one of my favorite blues. And so this is what it looks like completely. I have the outer edges at this point completely finished, unless I've missed an eyeball from a bird or a fish or something or other. You know, at the very end, I'll go through and I'll do a really thorough examination of all of that to make sure I haven't missed anything. So what am I working on? I was working on the inside part. So let me fold it to show you. First, I did quite a bit of the sails of the boat. This is as tall. Let me go back to the, where's my thing here? Obviously, then there'll be some flags up here, but I think for sails, that's it. I didn't quite finish over here because I kind of got tired. So my thought was then maybe let's fill in some whale. And I mean, that whale is intense. And my goal is on these to get 500 stitches every time I pick them up before I put them back down again and move on to the next of the quarterly pieces. And I did get that. I think it took me 2 different days. I did not do it in one fell swoop, which I generally don't. A lot of times it does take me more than one stitching session to get the 500, but there was quite a bit here with the white, and then, you know, the whale quite a bit. The whale goes with then we'll have kind of like the ocean floor. Now over here, the original has the mermaid. I have somebody switched it to a scuba diver, which was kind of cool. But my friend Donna, hi Donna, she had changed it to a sea turtle. And let me see if I have the, oh, here we go. I have the picture. And I ended up getting it. Isn't that cute? It's from La Selva Designs, right? Yeah, it's from La Selva Design on Etsy. And it's a little bit big. It's 29 by 26. So it's big, but it does fit. You know, around the mermaid, you have a lot of bits of extra water and stuff. So it does fit. What I was thinking of is I may find the section, you know, where the houses are, come down to see where that's going to be, and stitch the turtle, because I think that's what I'm going with, first, and then kind of fill in the fish and all that other stuff as we go. You know what I mean? And kind of fill in. And I might end up having to go a little bit into kind of the, you know, the bottom of the ocean bit. The turtle may come down slightly there. So that's why I kind of wanted to do that first and then go from there. Now, if you go to Floss and Flame in Dover, which is a LNS that opened up last November, and it is wonderful. Donna stitched this one, has it completely stitched, and her stitched version is up on the walls, framed. Really great frame that was chosen too. Framed on the walls of Floss and Flame. So if you go, when you first walk in on the right hand, the wall there, you'll see the beautiful piece here of Summer Quaker. And check it out. Check out what she did with the sea turtle. It is awesome and looks so, so good. But I saw that this week and I was like, yep, I really like that sea turtle. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But here it is. So this one will go, unless I have it for challenges, in theory, it'll go away until 4 weeks from now. So whenever that is in July. When you look at it like that, time really goes by fast because it's in increments of every 4 weeks, once a month. All right, now let me take a break here, show you one of my finished pieces. I've talked about scrapbooking my pieces, and some of you I know who are new will be like, well, what do you mean, Laura? And this is just an example. I pulled out one of my summer pieces. I think this is Silver Creek. I think it's Silver Creek Samplers. But don't quote me on that. I don't remember what the title is. I love beach stitching. And so I stitched it. It was a cute little small when I stitched it on the 18 count, and I found some fabric that kind of went with it, and I just played around with some twine. So this is in my scrapbook. And then when I want to have it out, I can put it out like this. In theory, I could take it out and put it in a frame if I would like to as well. Probably wouldn't glass it though with the twine. I'd probably take the glass out and just do it without any glass at all. All right, so that's my little piece that we're showing this week. Next, I've come to the realization I don't think this is going to get done by June, darn it. But I'm going to do my best. So this week I'm going to pull it out again and do my best effort to see how much I can get done. And July, August, September don't have a lot done to them. So I have my work cut out for me. October has a good amount done, but November and December are already done. I will have a chance to, whether it's then or during challenges, pull some of these out again if I don't get them finished within the month. This is June's Honeysuckle from Cottage Garden Samplings. And I did change, the one thing I changed is the inside of the leaves. If I look, I'm going to show you what the called for was. 166. Can I reach that? Oh, again, it's right here. And when I put 166, let me show you. So this is what it looks like. When I put 166 against it, it really wasn't working. It kind of looks, you don't notice it as much on the model, but that fabric is different. And so I said, nope, that can't work. Let me put this back so I don't lose it. And so I can't, what did I do instead? Let me see. I know I wrote the notes somewhere. 369. In person, you can see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it very well on the camera, but that's where I am. I did and figured, so, and that, these green leaves would have been done a lot sooner, but I had pulled it out a couple times and said, oh, that doesn't work. And I just didn't take the time to figure out what to do it in instead. I finally said, let's just get that done. I got the outside of all of this flower done. So you see, I still have the inside to do. And I have a few places where I have to do that darker color as well. But essentially, the flowers are almost done. But I have to do up here, which wouldn't in theory be much, But I changed the top here. I did not do the bee corner like was charted. And so I have to do kind of, I have really no idea what's going to happen up here in this top corner, to be honest with you. And as you can see, I've been procrastinating. So I can guarantee you, I've got little bees I've got to stitch here. I might throw one bee in the corner here just to kind of fill up that space a little bit. Finish the flowers. And then when I have nothing left to do, I'll start tackling this. I'll probably start from this direction and go up and then kind of meet. And I don't know if I'll have to do a bee or something. This is also Ice Crystals, 18 count from Fabrics by Stephanie. So you can see we have a run of Stephanie fabrics. I really like the color it's on, and I really like how all the other colors besides that one green look on this one. But I don't know at this point, because I might have to do a little work with that. So that corner does have a bee in it, one bee. We'll see if that'll work. If I don't know. We'll kind of play around with it. Stitching those bees is also obviously kind of fiddly. So that takes more time because you're constantly doing, okay, 5 stitches. Now that's it for that one. Let's switch it up, all that kind of stuff. So if I had to guess, I will work on it this week. I'd be really surprised if I have it finished. Pleasantly, but I think I'd be really surprised. Okay. I don't remember why I pulled this one out. I think I just felt like it. It's a really lovely stitch. It is my first Artsy housewife. It's called You Got This. I super enjoy it. I am using all the called for, although I'm going to pick my own variegated here. And then because of whatever I choose there, I'll probably have to change the inside lip of the mug as well. Everything else, though, I believe it's DMC called for. I think it's charted in DMC except for that mug, to be honest with you. Oh, no, probably not. These flowers are probably also that variegated floss. But I'm really pleased with this one. And I love, love, love the fabric I chose. I like it here. It's very, very cute. But I just love the colors here with this. This is 18 count Modest May from Those Missing Stitches. And so the top of the owl is completely done all the way through here. We're actually getting ready to line up with the mug. So I kind of do, except for a little bit down on each side. So I do really have to start making some decisions. I enjoyed stitching this, so I came over and I started doing some of that as well, because before I only had this top flower done. I may kind of do all of that and then kind of fill in over here, because I think that'll be kind of fun. Plus, this will be easy. You know, you'll have the You Got I think I am going to keep the box You Got This. I kind of like that, you know, I mean, kind of like You Got This kind of message. And because my thought was just, part of me just thought, oh, I'll just do the mug as is and just do back and forth mug. But I thought that just might be a lot of mug, to be honest. And I kind of liked that, you know, reminder that, you know, sometimes when things don't seem like you are in control, that you can do it. You got this. So I do think I will keep that. But I think that will be fairly easy to do. I mean, the box and the letters, that's all going to be easy. So I may do some of this counting bit first here, and then the different colors. The owl itself has probably a good 4 or 5 colors in it. So there is quite a bit of kind of counting and paying attention there with that. So so we're getting there, but I just really, really like it. I enjoy it. Yes, could it be a finish? Could it be a finish by the end of this year? Yes, of course it could. Will it be? I guess we'll see. I don't know. So I love this. You know, when I saw this bag, I had to get this, because anybody who knows me knows that Mo, my husband, loves sea otters. It is his kind of, when life gets stressful, he just watches a sea otter video and, you know, relaxes. So I saw this one and I said, I have to get it. And so many of you send either Instagram DMs with sea otters, or you may put it on the Facebook page, and I show each and every one of them to Mo, and he always does get a good chuckle. So thank you for thinking of him. All right. The very last piece is my last start. I have been talking about this all June. You knew it was coming. You were probably tired of listening to me say it. But June 24th, I started the Strawberry Goose Witch. And I know that Mary started it also from Mary's Stitching Corner. And I believe Karen from the Stitching Owl, she also started it. So we do have similar tastes in what we stitch a lot of times. So a lot of times we'll say, well, let's stitch it together. It's just that much more fun. Now this was started on Tuesday, and Tuesday I went up to Floss and Flame. So this was a start at the LNS, the local needle workshop. Really, really fun. And Jen, the owner, is stitching it as well. So she started it there, to start it with me. This is Fine Frog Stitching. It seems like I think they've been around for a bit, but I had not heard of, I don't know who the designer is, so I'm just going to say they. I'd not heard of them or seen their stuff before. They do have digital, though, because I know Mary bought the digital version of this and is stitching from the digital. So if you prefer digital, there is that option. I bought this. I think this came out at Market, maybe. So I bought it up at Floss and Flame, and I just loved it ever since. Many of you will know I don't do a lot of I like seeing people stitch, Paula Vaughn's or the geese or the teddy bears or the precious small. I like it, but I just don't generally stitch that stuff. And so I never thought I'd stitch a goose, right? So when I saw this one and I saw it and I kept coming back to it, and I said, well, then that means I really need to stitch it. And so if you would like to stitch it, the hashtag is either never thought I'd stitch a goose, Sal, which would be me, or never thought Laura would stitch a goose, Sal, if you would stitch geese willingly. It's super cute. Really love it. I am, of course, at the tippy top. So I did get 400 stitches in. This is all I stitched on when I was up at the store. And I love it. Oh, you're not going to see the opal, I don't think. Can you see the sparkle? This fabric was a lovely gift from Lisa from Paddock Lane Designs. And I believe it's mint. Do not quote me on that. We've not 100% figured out, but I believe it's mint. Look at this. I'm going to open it up so you can see. Look at the gorgeousness of this fabric. And it's an opal, which I thought, well, if I'm going to stitch a goose, I might as well stitch her sparkly, right? And this mint looked so good. I mean, obviously, this is done in a green anyway, so that thought scheme. This is brighter than what the called for is, but I think the colors are going to look so good. Look at that. If I bring it all the way up. And that's what I started with. Love it. Love it. Love it. If you have, this is my, so like I said, this was a gift from Paddock Lane. Now, Paddock Lane Designs is a Australian online shop, because Lisa does dye fabrics, but she is also the designer of charts. She has brought in other items as well. So if you are in Australia or New Zealand or anywhere in those areas where that might be easy to get stuff from, let me tell you, this is awesome Aida to stitch on. If you're an Aida stitcher, I absolutely love it. I adore it. It is fabulous. If I didn't live halfway around the world, I would be part of her Fabric of the Month club. I'm telling you right now. Sorry, Lisa. But so she does have Fabric of the Month clubs. I've seen her talk about them because she has a Paddock Lane Designs is on, I'll put it on, I'll link it. She's on Flosstube. And if you are part of Whip Warriors, she is one of the admins, Lisa is. So, but there it is. I love the start of my goose. Oh, love it, love it, love it. And Lisa, I love your fabric. Thank you so much for sending this to me. It is amazing. Alrighty. And that is it. That's my stitching for the week. I am super excited. What do I have for plans? Well, I have a couple of I Spy prompts left to do. I have to do my dad joke. I have not sat down and looked at the dad jokes. I know. I thought that was a really kind of clever thing to do as a prompt, but have I done it yet? No. I have 4 days. 4 days, if yes, because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? I think it's Tuesday. Tuesday is the 1st of July. I have to do starts with the letter W. I know what I'm doing. That's going to be my Mary Poppins because I'm going to do umbrella. And ironically, oh, it worked out perfectly because that was the next piece in my monthly rotation, my quarter, kind of 4-piece rotation. So it was perfect. It was like, okay, that all lined up. Scallop shape design. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You're going to wait and see. But I did pull out something that needs work and is older. So there you go. And then dad joke, you scallop. That might be it. So I have the 3 left to do. I know 2 of the 3. I just have to look up some dad jokes. And then I have been working on, I think I finished my acrostics. I do have to I'll catch up on the Whip Into Shape from Andrew. So that'll be June, and that will be my June prompts done. Obviously, like I said, I have to do the July I Spy prompts. I don't do them with the thoughts of projects. So clearly sometimes I stump myself. It's just, I just pick things out of the blue and then say, okay, what did you do to yourself, Laura? So next week I will have all of that up and out, the prompts, the acrostics. I think for Christmas in July, what I'm going to do, and I did this last year, was I think I pulled out every single project that was kind of Christmassy. I do have a start that I would like to do. Mary and I are starting Sampler Holidays Christmas from, is this Blueberry Ridge Design. I don't know. Mary's was asking me when I want to start it, and I'm waffling. I have no idea, Mary. Part of it is because I don't know floss and fabric. So if you give me if we decide on a date, that'll nudge me into having to make a choice. I love what Mary's doing. My thought, I almost thought I was going to go completely wild, and I don't know if I have the materials to do so, especially at this point since we'd be starting soon, is stitching it on a pink fabric and doing like a teal, and doing like the teal and pink Christmas, and just going completely wild kind of thing. I know some of you are saying, Laura, don't be ridiculous. But I don't know, there was something about it, but I'm not sure I have especially the floss to get away with it. Does it tell me? It doesn't tell me how many stitches, so I'm not 100% sure. But a stitch count, it's 149 by 172. So I mean, it's a good stitch count. So I would definitely need multiple skeins, and I am going to do the whole thing. I know sometimes I skip alphabets, but this time I'm even going to do, I think I'm even going to do the border. So that's coming up as a start for Christmas starts. Maybe I'll start 1 or 2 little ornamenty things, just because I was going strong January and February on starting some ornament stuff, and then I completely lost the plot on that. So maybe I'll throw in a few of those, and then I'm going to pull out everything that is Christmassy or I can relate to Christmas, and at least get some work on it. My page is boring right now, but it's basically the project and the number of stitches. So, and I'll keep going in the month, keeping track and seeing what I do. Am I just stitching Christmas? Absolutely not. I have too many projects to do and too much fun stitching all of them. So there will be everything else mixed in as well. Just not sure what those are yet. It's going to be a surprise to all of us. And I'm sure then there'll be some other maybe challenges that I might say, ooh, I want to jump on that or do this or that. For the focus one, I did Cinderella last month for the focus event from Whip Warriors. So that's probably Black Roses. So that'll get some work. And yeah, so just some plans. All right. For what was in my mailbox this week, happy mail. Oh, I cannot wait. These trading cards are so fun. So I've got a whole bunch of trading cards. I want to show the envelopes just so you know if you sent it, whether or not I've gotten it yet. Okay. So let me just pull them all over here. I really like this idea because then it gives peace of mind to know that I've gotten it. And then it also, you can say, I didn't hear my name. That means I have not received it. And we can kind of try to go from there. Peg, I got 2 envelopes from you. So I'm assuming that you just sent the 2. So I got both of those from you, Peg. Peg S. Tara or Tara, I'm sorry, I don't know which way to say it. Oh, I didn't write your last initial, but I got your stuff. I'm sure you'll recognize your envelope. Gail, I got your 2. So we're good. Amber H, I got yours. All set. Sally K. Sally, I got yours. Oh, you can see a little sneak peek of the corner of one of hers. Sorry about that. We don't want to show addresses on the internet. Sandra L, I got yours. Thank you so much for sending that. Here we go. Lisa B, I got 2 envelopes from you. So those are both came in. Candace S., I got your envelope. So that's in. Rose, I got your envelope and I got your message. So I do have to take a picture. I'll send what you need. Okay. So Rose, I did get it. I know what I have to send something to you. I just haven't done it yet. And then Ellen, we got yours. Now, Ellen also sends me sometimes some fun picture-y stuff that I do want to show you. So I'm going to show you that right here. Ellen stitched this. It's called Guardian Frog. He's Mandala Frog, or she said she calls him the Guardian Frog. He scares the little frogs away, so he's, doesn't want any frogging. From Awesome Pattern Studio. So look at that. Look at her finish. Isn't that gorgeous? That is amazing, Ellen. I love when you send me pictures of what you stitch. And then Ellen also sent this picture, which is so fabulous. So she has a tree, and she rotates the different trading cards she gets. So look at this. This was the last time she took, this is a picture of when she took it. And look at all those fun trading cards. How neat is that? So just another way of kind of displaying your cards if you'd like. Mine go in baseball card holders. Other people put them in different ways. And I just love seeing and hearing about that. But this is so fun. So thank you, Ellen, for showing that too. That's really, really neat. So those were the envelopes of trading cards I've gotten this week. So if you've sent and you didn't hear your name, I have not received it yet. And I've streamlined the system. When it comes in, it goes on this table. Once I've shown it, then it goes in a different kind of box, and then those will all go downstairs for me to do the changing when the time comes. I'm streamlining. It takes me several times to figure out what works best, but we're getting there. All right, so that was Happy Mail. Shopping, like I said, I went up to Floss and Flame. I did not buy that much. I was actually kind of saved my pennies because I'm really happy with what I've got, and there's some things that I'm looking at, but I did end up, I got one chart. I floated around and I saw this one. I mean, I live at the beach, right? Mo and I sit on Sunday mornings, sometimes under the umbrella, depends on the sun, in our little beach chairs and have our bowls. So this is Hands on Design. I don't know when this came out. 2025. So this is new. Toes in the Sand. So I did end up getting, Jen teases me because I seem to like get her last of stuff. So I did buy this last one of Jen's, but Jen said she's got more on the way. So if you would like to order this from Jen's shop, it's linked in the description box. She's got some coming. So if you want to reach out to her and say, I want the Toes in the Sand, let her know. Now, when I was there, one thing I absolutely wanted to do was, you know how I'm planning on doing that Quaker whale. And many of you have liked this battleship color, and I'm really excited to use it. Well, at the time, Jen had 4 skeins, and I picked all 4 of them because I had no idea. I'm still putting it into, I'm transferring it right now from the paper chart, which I think I will mess up because all those cool Quakers, I know my brain and my eyes will mess up. So I'm transferring it to WonderStitch, which will then go into Pattern Keeper, and I will be much better at it. But I'm already at almost 7,000 stitches, and I'm not done putting it in yet. So that got me a little nervous. So I did pick up some more Battleship. And this way, this is cool too, because if there's different variations of modeling and so on and so forth, I can like play around with it and mix and match. And so that'll be fun. So I did not take all of Jen's Battleship this time. So she does have Battleship left. And then, of course, you know, so that's Color and Cotton. Did I buy any other Color and Cottons? I did. I bought Puddle, and I just bought one of a lot of these just because I like the colors. So at some point I might throw them in. We have Puddle Jumping. We have, I thought this green was pretty. Emerald. I'm always looking for some good greens. So I thought that one was fun. And then the other Color and Cotton I got was Witch's Brew. I thought that was a pretty purple. I may or may not have any of these because I don't pay attention. And then sometimes I buy. I'm almost sure I have this one because I've stitched on something, but I love the blue. It's Summer Sky. So I said, oh, I'm going to buy some more Summer Sky. Let's undo it here. There we go. So that's the Summer Sky from Classic Colorworks. And then I'm always up for a good purple. So that's Sugar Plum. So that's it. That's what I got from the store. And then, you know how when you shop on Etsy and they show you things that, oh, you know, you've bought from this type of item before, look at these other shops, you know, and so it's fun. I periodically look at that because I like to discover new shops and to support small entrepreneurs and all of that, and help people out, right? So you know that I really like to buy variegated floss from Stitchy Stuff Co. on Etsy. And therefore, different floss. Oh, and I've bought Pirate and Robin there too. So sometimes hand-dyed variegated flosses show up. And I'd not heard of this company before, but I was like, I'm going to give them a try. And I really like them. They're called Afterglow. So they hand-dye floss as well as fabric. And I think they might do some charts too. I don't know much about them. And so I got a few single items of flosses just to see what they look like. Now I got 10 yards. Well, the things come in 10 yards, and I thought that's a really good deal. And I'm going to show you color scheme wise. So here we have a pink and a purple. These two are fairly variegated, especially this purple, which, you know, I don't always tend to go for, but I thought in some cases, especially like when I did, I don't have it here, that hot air balloon for my trading card, I really wanted to lean into a heavily variegated more so. So I thought that'd be fun. This one's called Vegas. A lot of them are places that they actually are named after. And although this one's called Grenadine. So this one's not. But again, it's more variegated. I don't know if you can see different levels and variations of that kind of shade. So those are two of the ones that I bought. Then, of course, I always have to get a blue. And I couldn't decide, but I went with just one just to try. And this one's called Vancouver. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that blue. This one is not as variegated, but it does have some light and dark, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Love it. And then I ended up actually, because when I mentioned greens, I'm always looking for some good greens, and I actually really adore both of these. So let me show you one, and then I'll show you the two together. This one is called Atlantis, and look at those shades of kind of that minty green with more of a sea green. It is beautiful. So that's Atlantis. And then this one is called Killarney. So you know it's going to be a green there. Isn't that beautiful? And I don't always see a lot of shades of this green. So if I put those two together, these are really, really pretty shades, and I have no idea what I'm going to use them for, but I just thought, how pretty are they? So those are the 5 that I bought. So let me put them up to show you. And I am really, really pleased. Now, I think they are a small batch kind of dyer. So these did take, maybe 3.5 weeks to come in. So if you're looking for something that you want to start tomorrow, you know, or something, not quite like that, but do you know what I mean? Like if you want to start it within a week, odds are you're not going to be able to get the floss in time. But if you are willing, look at those colors. Now they also sell sets. So if you wanted to get like a set of a specific kind of color shade theme or scheme or whatever, you can also do it that way. But I'm really, see, this is the adventure I had when I gave this Afterglow a try. So that's what I got. And that's it. That's all I have for shopping. I did not buy, I have a couple digital charts that I put in my wish list, but I didn't buy any. I haven't done that yet. I still haven't bought my octopus yet, but we're at some point I will. Let me know if you were starting that one, and then, you know, then maybe that'll push me to get it and I'll start it with you. But that's it for stitching. That's all I have. So if that's all you're here for, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for letting me show you all these fabulous colors of flosses and to talk about all of that. Yeah, I'll just move into life stuff. But if you're going, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. This was one of my busiest weeks that I've had in a long time. Mo and I live a fairly quiet life. I actually really like being home. I'm comforted. I like, you know, I feel comfort being at home. I'm a pretty shy, introverted sort of person. So going out and about, I get kind of quiet and sometimes just don't know what to say. So, so I do stuff, but I just don't do a lot of stuff. This week just happened to be kind of really, really busy. Last Friday, after we filmed that night, Mo and I met some friends downtown and went out to dinner, which was really nice. We went at like 5 o'clock before all the crowd started to come. And when we left the restaurant, it was probably 6:15, 6:30. That's when the crowds were there. So that's good to know if we want to go downtown in the middle of summer. And it was nice. It had been hot, but they had fans going. We were able to sit outside, and it was just really, really nice. Then over the weekend, we did our bowls at the beach on Sunday morning. It was a little bit breezy. In fact, Mo tried to do the umbrella, and it wasn't having it. The wind, it wasn't staying stable. You know what I mean? And I always get nervous about that. So the sun was out there. We kind of needed the umbrella, but luckily we sunscreened and we didn't rely on just the umbrella. But then we also, that afternoon, we went to we had a celebration of life to go to for our neighbor. He passed away maybe 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago. Super, super nice. He and his wife. We did not get a chance to get to know him before he had gotten sick. But we wanted to go to this, and we just heard he was really lovely when we had met him, but at that point he was already sick and he had a long, hard battle. But he was just a fabulous person, just listening to the stories and this and that. So I really liked hearing about and honoring him in his life. So we did that Sunday afternoon. And then Tuesday, I drove up to Floss and Flame. This week, it was hot, hot, hot. We were under that whatever heat dome thing or whatever it was. I don't know. It was hot. Kind of and here in Delaware, it's not just hot. It is humid. Like it is, you walk outside, and those of you who live in humid places will know this, and you're literally walking into a brick wall, right? I mean, the air just stops you because you can't breathe. It's just a brick wall. And on Tuesday, I was kind of glad I had something to do because there was no way I was leaving the house. The dew point was almost 85. And I have to tell you, I mean, I've always lived, New England can get very humid. And so I've lived with humidity all my life, and dew points get high, right? They always say once you're hitting the 70s, you are humid. I'm not sure I've ever gotten up to 85 before. It was just ridiculous. So I drove up and got there when Jen opened at 11 and sat, and I stayed in the store until 3. It was so lovely. And Jen, Donna, and I just stitched and chatted, and I really, really enjoyed it. I got back to my car, so it was 3 o'clock. Dover is about an hour north of me. I'm at the beaches, inland from the beaches. I'm not on the beach, but maybe 10 minutes inland. And it was 105 in my car when I started the car to leave. And I thought, okay, well, this car's been sitting out. It'll kind of, once I get going. It stayed 104, 103, was not going down. So when I got back to Rehoboth, the car was still reading 100. So it really, being north really didn't do much difference. It was just that hot everywhere. I came home, I came inside. I was like, I don't want to do anything outside. It is way too hot. And that was kind of the week last week. In some cases, we just didn't get out of the house much because it was just too hot. And then when was it? Well, Wednesday we had some friends over, which was nice. And we did I did all my prep first thing this morning, and then Mo just had to do the grill for a little bit that night. And he said it wasn't too bad, but I mean, we weren't even sitting out on the porch. It was just too hot. It was in the 90s, super high. I think our porch was reading 98 degrees inside air temperature. So after they left, I was like, I'm going to do a little bit of stitching because I hadn't done a lot Wednesday. I was settled in. I was, what was I stitching? I don't think anything you saw. I think I just pulled out something, for one of the challenges. It might have been actually Mary Poppins even. I don't remember. And I was in, and I hadn't done much stitching when the power went out. And we generally do not lose power. Everything went pitch dark. And it was just before 10 o'clock at night. So, I very carefully put the light on to go downstairs because I've fallen down the stairs one one time before a few years ago. And so we don't want to do that again. And what was funny is across the street from us, you have like a little kind of little loopy little street. Their houses had lights on them. And then when you looked on the street behind us, across the street there, those houses had outside lights on. I was like, okay, we're this swath right here. And so we looked outside, and yeah, there was a swath on where we were that all didn't have power. And then when you went on the Facebook page, there was probably 5 or 6 other streets that also had no power. Apparently a transformer had blown right outside of the community. But it was so strange how different areas still had it, different not. At 10 o'clock at night, the temperature was registering 80 degrees, and it was super humid. It's like, oh my goodness. Luckily, they had said it would probably be till like 2 or 3 in the morning before power got back. Luckily, it did not take that long. Luckily, the air conditioning did come back on. Now, and I do this in the winter. I sleep with a fan as well. In the winter, it's the heat plus a fan because I have to move the air. In the summer, it's the air conditioning and a fan because it's just too warm for me otherwise. So I would have pulled it all-nighter probably and not slept at all. But thank goodness, Delaware Electric pulled through, came through, and we got our power back really, really much quicker than I thought we were going to. So I was super pleased with that, thankfully. If any of you were in this heat and you did not have air conditioning, my thoughts and go out to you. I'm so sorry, because that was tough. That would have been really, really rough. So you can see there was just a lot going on. It is cloudy and dreary and everything else today. It's only supposed to hit 75-ish today, I think, and then it's going to go back into the 80s after that. But I think in July, we're supposed to be kind of normal, not the crazy heat wave heat. So that'll be kind of cool. We went from like rainy and cold to this hot, hot stuff. I kind of want something in between. So hopefully that's the case. That's about it. That's all I got. I hope you're keeping cool. What was funny is I had said on my Facebook page, send me some frosty thoughts. And all my Australian friends were like, here you go. It's freezing and cold and frosty and this and that in Australia. So in Australia, my friends, I hope you're staying warm. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. As always, please remember that you are important. You are special, and you being you and is just, I want you to feel good about yourself. Please do so. Know that you are special and important. All right. I guess that's it. Until next time, happy stitching.